Rose Garden. I'm Avalon,
And I'm Ray.
and this is a mercifully short chapter.
Yay!
As I get the feeling many will be from here on out. Looks like we have like one normal chapter and then one that's a few pages, and then a normal one, and then one that's a few pages until the end of the book. And this is one of the short ones.
Okay.
So we'll power through it. Hopefully survive without any major coughing fits, and then we can rest for a bit. Okay, when we last left off, Selena was being the whitest ever, and then the king showed up.
It's the king.
It's the king.
It's good to be the king.
The king. Selena's
The
heart.
king. The king. The king.
Selena's heart gave a screech and dove behind her spine. Wow, what an image.
Wow, the dove behind her spine. It literally just like rounded around her rib cage and just kind of hid back there.
Sweet, we're opening this chapter with some body horror. Nice, you'll love to see it.
She's got a really horrible heart-shaped tumor back there now.
Each of the little scars on her hand throbbed. He strode toward them, his monstrous form filling the too small hallway, and their eyes met.
So the scars throbbed, so she does have nerve damage.
Good for her.
If she didn't have nerve damage from the frickin' being slammed in a door or whatever before,
Yeah.
like, she got nerve damage. If you didn't have nerve damage before, you got nerve damage now.
Nerve damage for everybody.
Yay!
She went cold and hot at once. Kale halted and bowed low. Slowly, not wishing to find herself swinging from the gallows just yet, Selena bowed too. He stared at her with eyes of iron. The hair on her arms rose. She could feel him searching, looking for something inside of her. He knew that something was wrong, that something had changed in his castle. Something to do with her. Selena and Kale rose and stepped aside. His head turned to examine her as he strode past. Could he see what lay beyond her flesh?
There's a heart behind her spine. He'd be all like, "Oh, that's what I noticed was new. That's really strange. You should probably go to a doctor, get that checked out."
Did he know that Cain had the ability to open portals, real portals to other worlds? Why would he know that?
Oh, we've got a portal.
Portal.
Alright, everyone going to the bathroom. I gotta take care of this portal.
Did he know that even though he'd banned magic, the word mark still commanded a power of their own? Power the king could wield if he learned to summon demons like the Ritterak. You're putting a lot onto him for a guy who just showed up, like, in the last 100 pages or so of this book. Man's just got here. There was a darkness in his eyes that felt cold and foreign, like the gaps between the stars. Could one man destroy a world? Was his ambition so consuming? She could hear the din of war. The king's head shifted to look at the hallway ahead. Something dangerous lurked about him. It was an air of death that she'd felt standing before that black void summoned by Cain. It was the stench of another world, a dead world. What was Elena's goal in demanding that she get close to him? Probably to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
You're an assassin. I think you should understand that proximity generally opens up opportunities to kill people with. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know how to do your job. I just feel like I know how to do it better than you do. Because I also think you don't know how to do your job. Selena managed to walk one step at a time away from the king. Her eyes were far away and distant, and though she didn't look at Kale, she felt him studying her face. Thankfully, he didn't say a word. It was nice to have someone who understood. Does he? Or is he just choosing to relish the momentary silence that so rarely accompanies his interactions with you? Kale also didn't say anything when she moved closer to him for the remainder of their walk. Potential POV switch, Tildy? Kale paced through his room, his time with Selena over until she'd trained with the other champions that afternoon. After lunch, he'd returned to his room to read the report detailing the king's journey, and in the past 10 minutes he'd read the thing 3 times. He crumpled the paper in his fist. Why had the king arrived alone? And more importantly, how had everyone in his traveling party died? It wasn't clear where he'd gone. He'd mentioned the White Fang Mountains, but why were they all dead?
Why were they dead?
Yeah, that does seem like... Poor Kaol, give this man a break. It's just one mysterious death after another for this guy. The king had vaguely hinted at some sort of issue with rebels poisoning their food stores, but the details were murky enough to suggest that the truth was buried somewhere else. Perhaps he hadn't explained it fully because it would upset his subjects, but Kaol was his captain of the guard. If the king didn't trust him... The clock struck and Kaol's shoulders sagged. Poor Selena. Did she know that she looked like a frightened animal when the king appeared? He'd almost wanted to pat her on the back, and the effect the king had on her lasted long after their encounter. She'd been distant during lunch. She was incredible now, so fast he had difficulty keeping up with her. She could scale a wall with ease, and even demonstrated by climbing up to her own balcony with nothing but her bare hands. It unnerved him, especially when he remembered she was only 18. He wondered if this was how she'd been before in Deauville. She never hesitated when they sparred, but she seemed to sink far within herself, into a place that was calm and cool, but also angry and burning. She could kill anyone, Cain included, in a matter of seconds. I'm so glad that we've skipped over this display of skill, and are now having it summarized for us. But if she became champion, could they let her loose into Aeriel once more? He was fond of her, but Kaol didn't know if he could sleep at night knowing that he had retrained and released the world's greatest assassin.
The world's greatest assassin? We moved on from
Adderley?
Adderlin's greatest assassin to world's greatest assassin. Doubt.
If she won, though, she'd be here for 4 years. What had the king thought when he saw them together laughing? Surely that hadn't been his reason for neglecting to tell him what happened to his men. No, the king wouldn't bother to care about that kind of thing, especially if Selena might soon be his champion. Kaol rubbed his shoulder. She'd looked so small when she saw the king. Since returning from his travels, the king hadn't seemed any different, and was just as gruff with Kaol as he'd always been. But the sudden disappearance, then returning without a single soul, there was something brewing, a cauldron that the king had journeyed to stir. Selena somehow knew it too.
He really just said this king is here to stir the pot.
Or the king went somewhere to stir someone else's pot, and is now back to stir his own pot.
Yum, yum, yum.
This king does nothing but stir pot.
A hearty stew.
The captain of the guard leaned against a wall, staring at the ceiling. He shouldn't press into the king's business. Right now his focus was on solving the murders of the champions and on making sure Selena won. It wasn't even about Dorian's pride anymore. Selena wouldn't survive another year in Deauville. Kaol smiled slightly. She'd stirred up enough trouble in the months she'd been in the castle. He could only imagine what would happen over the next 4 years. And that's all we get for this chapter.
Wow, a big fat nothing of a chapter.
Yeah, like... Okay, cool. I'd like that we're devoting some time to the king's presence and the impact that it has on the main characters. I would have liked to get Dorian's perspective.
Yeah, where's Dorian?
Like, hey, Dorian, your dad's back.
You know that dad you hate. Like...
You know, he's appeared suddenly and without escort. So clearly there's something going on there, and I would like to get some more input on it from some other characters. We haven't heard from Lady Caltaine in like a while. Would like to see what her reaction to the King's Return is.
Lady Catherine.
Oh, that's right. We were calling her Catherine.
Yeah, Lady Catherine.
Lady Catherine. Yeah, like, you know, if we're gonna have just a bunch of little short, here's the POV of the character reacting to thing, maybe have more than just the two.
Yeah.
Because surely news of the King's Return has spread throughout the castle.
Yeah, we should be getting, like, a lot of people's reaction.
But then again, getting at least Dorian and Nehemia.
Let's be for real here. This chapter was probably added in later to pad the page count.
Yeah. Or it was just like a filler, like, oh, I need to update, but I don't really have anything. Chuck this at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, we should at least have Dorian and Nehemia's reactions. Although Nehemia hasn't had a POV, I've noticed. Kale gets a POV, Dorian gets a POV, Catherine gets a POV, Nehemia doesn't.
Amy doesn't get a POV because she's
Capable, smart, competent,
not white.
that too. Because yeah, if Nehemia had a POV, this would be just a completely different story altogether. Not just because she's weighing in on events, but just
Because
I don't know how
things.
I don't know how you would be able to go from Nehemia's POV to Selena's POV and not throw the book across the room. So
See, like I'm just in the position of, other than my ongoing idea that we likely aren't getting her POV because she is not white. She also like knows things, and this is once again Sarah J. Maas clumsily holding information away from the reader and thus making the book worse by doing so.
yeah, it's like we can't get Nehemia's POV because she is smart, capable, and competent, and would actually be a compelling character to follow. Oh, but don't I wish that we did? Like, I'm really hoping that there's just like, you know how in the Warriors fandom, there's an entire genre of fan fiction that is just quote
Rewriting
unquote
it.
fixing or rewriting the books.
Fix it, fix.
I really hope that there's just a whole genre of Sarah J. Maas universe fics that are just, hey, let's do this right. Let's actually examine what we've, people who have actually read all the books and can look back in hindsight to all the things that need to be set up and resolved at each step of the journey.
See, like, okay,
and go, let's fix this by including this character's perspective. And
the only reason I don't see that happening is because in the Warriors fandom, it's common to hate the books and love the fandom. Whereas the Sarah J. Maas fandom, like, the people who are actually in the fandom seem to genuinely think the books are good. She has a massive hate-dom, but, like, her fandom, the people who would actually be compelled to write fan fiction, tend to think that the books are good, at least from what I have seen.
or if not good, they just don't see that there's anything wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like I've seen plenty of people who, look at A Court of Thorns and Roses and are like, yeah, I know it's really like bad writing, but it's my junk food book and I like it. And far be it from me to take that from them.
Well, yeah, and then like,
but yeah, I see your point.
and admittedly, the people who see it as a junk food book, they're not the people that are going to be writing fanfic because they consider it a junk food book. You don't. It's kind of like you don't see people writing fan fiction for like the old dime store novels.
Yeah, those are already fanfics.
Exactly.
Basically.
So it's like, unfortunately, I think this fandom is doomed to just have the books as they are.
I might be interested in looking into this because we do have our little like bonus chapter video that we're gonna do. I might look up just what are some popular fanfics in the fandom and find out if there are any that are putting some respect on Nehemia's name because my god, she deserves it.
My only hesitation with that is primarily the people watching this are the hate-dom. I don't want to be like steering hate-dom attention towards fandom projects, I guess.
Fair. Like I would definitely not be like calling out any fanfics by name or any author. I would just be like, okay, what's the trend?
What is the trend?
And this is what I see a lot of, but I'm not going to, point to specific
Also, this is my occasional warning that if you don't like something, do not engage with the fandom.
For real.
Just don't engage with the fandom at all. Do not leave the fandom alone. You can criticize the source material all you want. Let the fandom do its thing. They're having their fun.
Yeah, like we're pretty upfront about what these videos are. I don't go posting these in the Throne of Glass tag on Tumblr or anything.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. If they can find enjoyment in this slop, more power to them.
Yeah.
We all gotta get through this bitch of a life somehow.
Yeah, like, absolutely, I believe 100% people are allowed to enjoy whatever fiction they like. They like, because at the end of the day, man, this world sucks. Like, let's just enjoy what we can. And
Life is hard, and if your crappy fantasy novel helps you through the day, man, fuck it, whatever. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, this chapter was just super duper short, and there wasn't a lot to say about it. Um, so that's all
not a
we've
lot
got.
went on. It was just reactions to the king suddenly existing. The
And
king didn't even say anything. The king didn't even get any dialogue. He just showed up, and everyone was like, and that's it. That was the whole
yeah,
chapter.
like Kale's part had some interesting things to think about, but again, I'm thinking that this is probably more set up for the sequel.
Yeah.
This, I'm now enjoying your theory of this was added in
Yeah.
after the fact to set up some things with the king, who we already know is the bad guy, so whatever. So yeah, I think we're gonna end it here.
Ugh.
Sorry for the short episode, but there will be a longer one next week because that looks like a regular chapter length. And yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments and keep growing until next time, Rose Garden.
Bye.